The 608 AC is my travel charger of choice. In fact, it's my home charger as well. This thing is powerful, can be powered via AC or DC, and the best part is this thing is very small and compact and can be made even smaller if you use the XT60 connector. But what if you wanted a smaller yet more powerful charger? Well, that's not possible with the 608 PD. So let's open this up and see what's new. Okay, so here it is, the 608 PD, and this thing is very small and compact, actually very smaller than the size of my hand here. Now, despite that this thing here packs a pretty big punch, or at least a bigger punch than the AC on the older brother right here. Now, this thing also has modern features like Bluetooth, so I can configure my charging cycle and actually monitor the charging while I'm away from the desk. So let's open this up and see what's inside. All right, and the first thing we see here is the charger itself, pretty nice. And then you have a quick start guide instruction manual, pretty cool. All right, okay, so here's the charger right here. Let's get this out of this bag right here. And here's your charger. This thing is super small and very light. Talking about that, let's wait and see how much this thing here weighs. As you can see, 83 grams, so that's pretty cool. I think it's advertised as 84 grams. And here's the older version of this charger here, 337 grams. So this thing here is significantly heavier than the PD version, although this one does have a power supply built into it. So the weight and size is because of that, although this is a very small charger as well. Okay, so let's take a closer look at the 608 PD. And the first thing I notice here is this screen as well as this user interface right here. Now on top here you have a 2.4-inch IPS screen. This is good for vibrant colors and different viewing angles when you have this thing on the desk. Below here you have 3 identical buttons, a left, a right, and a center button to navigate through the menu. Now on the bottom here you have an XT60 plug as well as a balance port here to plug multiple batteries between 2 and 6S. So this covers most of the batteries in the FPV hobby. Now on the side here you have 2 grills, and these are the actual ventilation for this. This has a built-in fan to keep the charger cool while you're charging your batteries. Now on top here this should be a plug, and you have a warning sticker on here. So to ensure the normal use of the device and personal safety of users, please do not connect the XT60 interface and Type-C interface at the same time. So this kind of gives it away. We have an XT60 connector as well as a USB-C connector in here, and these are the inputs for this charger. Very cool feature. Now if you're in the field, you have an XT60 battery, this can be powered via an XT-C connector, or if you're home, you can also power this with a USB-C connector as well. We'll try both today, and that's what makes this the whole 608 PD. Now, if you're gonna power up this charger via the XT60 connector, you are good for 240 watts. And if you're gonna use the USB-C connector, you're good for around 140 watts. So still pretty powerful compared to the 608 AC. Now in this case, in this configuration right here, if you plug it to the wall, you are good for 50 watts. And if you use the XT60 connector DC input, then you are good for 200 watts. So this does have a significant increase, 240 and 140 respectively. So pretty cool and impressive for a very small size or small charger. Okay, so let's power this up and take a look at this user interface. I'm gonna remove this screen protector on here. Oh man, this thing is so beautiful. Maybe I should have kept it on. And here we are, we have a USB-C cable here. I do have a PD charger right here, or PD brick. This one here is good for around 100 watts, so pretty impressive, and we'll see how that works. So let's just plug this in to the top right here and see what we see. Okay, USB in, max power, 100 watts. So it is true to what it senses here, 100 watts. Now, here's your user interface here, and I do highly recommend you get familiar with this since this charger doesn't have automatic battery sensing. So it can't tell if you have a LiPo, a lithium ion, a high voltage battery. So this is where you'll be using all your interface right here. The first thing here we see is a moon here. This thing here is in sleep or standby mode. You also have your amps and your voltage. It also shows you your voltage of your input. It shows 20.1 volts, and it shows 100 watt PD, which is correct via my brick right here. It also shows you the temperature of the actual charger, which is 28 degrees and 82 degrees Fahrenheit. So pretty cool. So we can just click on this, take this out of sleep mode. Okay, so we clicked on that, and now we have the normal page right here. This is your standard page. The first thing here is your actual profile or presets, and that's how you're gonna navigate between different batteries in your fleet. So if you have a 4S, a 6S, or maybe a 3S, you can set a specific profile with different charging and voltage limits for each specific battery. Now in this case, we have a profile 1 right here, and it says charge, it says LiPo 6S, 4.2 volts, which is normal for a LiPo battery, and also 5 amps. Now 5 amps is probably a little bit overkill for these smaller 6S batteries, but you can also alter that. So we hit that. The next one, it goes to profile 2. It says lithium high voltage 6S, 4.35 and 5 amps. Profile 3 is a LiFeed batteries or lithium ion battery. Next one, you have a nickel metal hydride. And then the next one here is a lead acid battery here. And that's it, so 5 profiles. In this case, we're gonna change the profile for each one only because we have only LiPo batteries. And what I'm more concerned about is the 6S versus 4S versus 3S batteries. Okay, now to change the actual parameters for each preset or profile in here, you just long press the center button. Here we go, and it starts to flash right here. And that's the one I actually wanna change, is the actual amperage here. So we can go down to, let's go to 1,000 milliamp or 1 amp. Short press. Okay, 4.2 volts, that's correct for a LiPo battery. 6S is correct. LiPo is correct, and that's it. So now to exit this menu, you press and hold long press. And now we have a profile saved for my 6S battery. And you can do that for each battery in your fleet. So I have a profile here for 6S LiPo, then I'll do the next thing for 4S and so forth. So we'll just keep it on profile 1, and then we're just gonna connect our battery and we can start the charging process from there. At this point, I would configure or set up a preset for each one of my batteries in my fleet, whether it be a 2S, 3S, 4S, or 6S. I do have 5 profiles on, or presets on this charger on here, but there's an easier way of doing that in the included app. This thing does have Bluetooth, and this can interact with your mobile device. Boom, and I have the Isdt link app right here. We're gonna open this up. We're just gonna hit the plus sign right here. All right, searching for Isdt device, and let's see if it finds it. Let's refresh. Is it not working for tablets? All right, let me add a device here, see if it works on my cell phone. All right, so I guess we're gonna go smaller screen here and show it here. Okay, so here's the app right here. You have the battery chemistry, you have your cells, your voltage, and then your charge current right here. Now we have also the presets right here. We said we had 5 presets. We have preset number 1, which is for 6S. I can change preset number 2, go in here, and then I can change this to a LiPo as well. Select that. I want this as a 4S battery. Select that. Charge voltage is 4.2, and I want this around 850 milliwatts. So let's see, is that the lowest it goes? Wow. 0.5. Let's go to 1 then. Okay, and then I can just save that. And now I have profile or preset 2 set for my 4S battery. I can do the same thing here for a 2S battery. I also charge 2S batteries as well, a lot. Full charge voltage, that's very low. That should be 4.2. There you go, 4.2, 2S. And then let's bring this down to 0.5 or 500 milliamp. And there you go. So I have that set, and you can change it pretty easy here, and it syncs with the actual charger. You also have a complete beep here, brightness screen. I guess you can change that. Wow, inferior, let's see what this is. Wow, I guess you can change it, pretty cool. I'll keep it at maximum brightness. And there you go, that change is pretty damn good. Okay, so we talked about charging this battery. Let's try to charge this battery right here. I have a 6S 1100 milliamp hour battery. And let's see what this thing here says when I plug it in. So I'm gonna put the balance lead in here first. And immediately I have all the battery cell voltage right here via the balance lead. And then I can plug this into the XT60 port. Perfect. 25.1 volts. It's the same here. This battery here is almost fully charged anyway, so that's pretty good. Cool, and I can just hit this center here to start, or I can hit the start button right here as well. We'll just do this for now. And it's charging, as you can see right here. It shows you the actual, it's kind of hard to see here, but all right, so it does show you the actual USB-C to battery, a LiPo 6S, your amps 0.5. This thing is almost full already. 1 milliamp hour that's gone into the battery, and the battery voltage is 25.2 volts. And you can see the voltage for each cell right here. And the next page, you can see the internal resistance. It's still measuring it, but that would show up as well. But anyways, it shows you here as well. So all the information is here as well. And if you want to calibrate your voltage, you can do that right here as well. Now, is it gonna give me a notification on my phone once it's finished charging? Let's leave it here for a while. I am going, okay. So that's good. Very similar to the 608 AC. Okay, so here's a perfect scenario here for me. I'm gonna charge these two batteries here simultaneously and see how this charger here deals with it, especially on the PD power source right now. So I have my balanced board right here, or parallel charging board. I'm gonna hook up these two batteries to it. Now this is a typical setup right here. I usually travel with at least 2 batteries, and the whole point of traveling is to charge your batteries as quickly as possible. So I'm gonna plug this in right here, and I wanna do 6S, and I wanna do it at 2 amps. Well, it should be 2.5, maybe it might work. Let's see if I can do 2.5. 2.5 and 6S. So as you can see, 2.5 amps, 2.5 amps. It's almost at the nearest charge at this capacity here, but you can see all the information right here on the screen as well. And it's doing a pretty good job. So this is around 55 watts just on 2 batteries. I can do probably 3 batteries and get away with it and charge at 1C, and that's not a problem at all. So this charger here is handling this pretty easily. So let's unplug this. And there's one thing else I wanna do, and that is this thing can also provide output, a PD output. So if you want to charge your device in the field, say a cell phone, a laptop, a tablet, then this can actually be an output for your devices. So we're just going to unplug it right here. I'm also going to unplug it from my PD charger, so we have both ends of the cable right here. And you just plug your battery into the XT60 connector. Now you do have the option of connecting your balance lead, and I do highly recommend you connect your balance lead to it as well. So there it is, USB out, and hit it one more time. And then the low voltage limit is 23.9. So if you're gonna charge a device using this PD out, you do wanna set a minimum voltage so that you don't damage the battery on this. This is a 6S battery. So let me see here, 3.5 times 2 is 7, 7 times 3 is 21. So I do wanna have it around 21 voltage. It says 23.9, you can lower that if you want to. Now, if you do actually plug in the balance port, then it can give you the minimum voltage per cell, and that's even easier. So 3.5 is the lowest you wanna go. It's showing 3.6 cells or 3.6 volts per cell on this one. So it's not gonna go below 3.6. Once it hits 3.6, it's gonna shut off the charger so you don't really damage the actual battery. So I hit the center button, and now it's showing me battery to USB-C. It's gonna be hard to see that. All right, so that means this output here is live. I can plug this in now. And what do I want to charge? Do I want to charge my iPad? iPad is a big device. And here's my iPad. This, you can plug it in, and it should charge it. There it is. It's charging. And it's pretty cool. It shows you the amperage leaving the charger, 1.2 amps. It's doing exactly what a charger or a PD charger would do. It's pretty cool. So the brighter I make the screen, the more current I use, the higher the output on here. So it's acting like a PD charger. So all these things work. I can charge my tablet, my cell phone in the field if I want to. So it's showing you here that it's discharging right here. 15 seconds, 1.2 amps, 24.7 volts. And you can see the input is 15 volts, 30 watts. So this is legit. Okay guys, now having said that, this charger doesn't have a discharge or a storage mode. So if you want to put your batteries into storage mode, say 3.8 volts, then this can't do it. Or say you want to trash your battery, you want to deplete it altogether, then this charger cannot do that. There's no menu in here to get that done, which is a really shame because all the other chargers, including the 608 AC, can also do storage charge or actually discharge. And I do suspect that's due to the actual size, the small size of this charger. Usually there has to be a resistor or resistance in here to actually deplete or discharge the battery. That'd be one feature I wish they would include. Now, they can actually add that into this with a firmware upgrade, and I don't know if they'll do that in the near future. Now, having said that, guys, you just saw me provide a PD output to my iPad or to any kind of mobile device. I'm just trying to circumvent the whole situation here. If you are really desperate into putting your battery into storage charge, then that technically could be done, right? So if I go through and take a fully charged battery and I say, okay, well, I want to discharge it, well, I can just plug this in right here. Let's just plug it in for kicks and giggles. Boom. Plug the balance lead in here. All right, so I go hit the button right here and it says low battery voltage limit. So it says 3.6. I can easily increase this to 3.8 volts, select that, and there we go. Now I can just plug this into my USB-C and plug this into any device I want to charge, or a dummy load. If I have a dummy load like a USB-C dummy load, like a resistor or resistance, then this would actually deplete this battery or discharge this battery to the 3.8 volts that I set on here, and therefore you can discharge or put this into storage charge by choosing 3.8. Now, I don't know how long that's gonna take. So now it's providing my iPad with electricity, with power, and it's gonna deplete my batteries and my cells individually until it's 3.8 volts and then just stop. So that's one way to get around the system, although it doesn't have a storage charge or a discharge function. This can be used in that manner to actually bring this down to 3.8 volts or any voltage that you want. Okay, so overall, what do I think about this 608 PD? Well, I do think that Isdt did a pretty amazing job putting this much performance into a very small package, especially since it actually exceeds the performance of the 608 AC, which is a really good first-time charger. Now, is it perfect? No, not really. This thing doesn't have the storage or the discharge function in the menus. But for me personally, guys, this is the perfect, or for me personally, the perfect travel charger, guys. It's small, compact. I can use USB-C or XT60. And for me personally, I don't really put my batteries into storage charge while I'm on vacation. The whole point of vacation is to actually fly your drones as much as possible. And I'm pretty much trying to charge my batteries as quickly and safely as possible. And this charger does it, especially if I use a balance board or a parallel charging system. So let me know what you think about the 608 PD. Does this interest you? Now, this thing is really affordable. This thing comes in under $30. This thing is around $60+. And this does have a little bit more features and more versatility, AC and DC. This is more a DC charger. And I like this travel very light, guys. Now, if you're a new pilot getting into the hobby and you're interested in the 608 AC, I've done a full review on this one, and I'll leave a link right here so you can take a look at it. So, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.